Good morning, everybody. You're sitting down with Uncle Mike with Jitsu Life. How's everybody doing this morning? Let's talk about being in your 30s, still trying to train, still trying to give 100%. Maybe I'll see where this topic takes me. So, I have 2 kids. I'm married, been married for about 5 years, a little bit longer. There was once a time when I could train 6 days a week. There was a time when I trained even 7 days a week. There was a time when I trained 7 days a week. In my boxing, I would train for 2 to 3 hours at a time. But I was in my teens, my 20s, and I could get away with that shit. Now the injuries seem to accumulate. Things don't seem to go away as fast as they used to. My children are small, they're babies, so balancing that lifestyle out can be quite a challenge. So to some people this might not apply at all. If you're 20 years old, it's definitely not going to apply to you, unless you start having kids at a really early time in your life, which I hope you didn't, because that's just a horrible idea. But it's tough. It's tough for a guy like me who training in martial arts for so long, and as long as I have. I even look at boxing. It's a different style of martial arts. It's still martial arts. But it was huge for me to give up some of my training. Like now I only train 3 days a week. Sometimes 4 days a week. I meet at the gym and I do an open mat with a buddy of mine on some free time when I have it. I'm headed to the gym right now to train. You know, you got to squeeze your sessions in when you can. I mean, if you love it as much as you really think you do, you'll find ways to train. You'll find ways to keep your family happy. If you can bring your family to the gym, that's great. I'd like to do that. It's just I'm at a point right now where when I train, it's like going to the gym to lift weights. I'm in the zone. You know, I don't need to hear my boys, crying in the background or anything like that. I'll save the jiu-jitsu time for them. When I go home in the garage, I have mats and I play jiu-jitsu with them. But balancing out everything, maybe going back to, this is a comment I heard, and I just felt like this was horrible. So again, I've been involved in jiu-jitsu for about 7 years, and the style I used to train when I first started was very aggressive, right? It was a lot of smashing and stuff like that, because I tend to be a bigger guy. I'm 5'8" on a good day. And I fluctuate in weight anywhere from 185 to sometimes at my heaviest, I'm up to 220 pounds even. So I used to love to smash. I like playing a top game. I used to explode on the bottom like I was about to ejaculate and lose control of myself. And what happens is you get older and that style might not always work for you. It might not always be there for you. I mean, I'm dealing with multiple injuries right now, like I've never had before in my life, and it's frustrating because I don't want to feel these injuries. But they're a part of my life right now. It's part of my training. It's just part of the process. That doesn't mean I ignore it. You still gotta, if you got injuries, if you have injuries too, feel free to comment and let me know what they are. My background's in physical therapy, so I can definitely give you some pointers on what you can do, and if it's a problem or if it's just nagging stuff that really it's nothing, it will fade in time, or tendinitis. But anyways, as I got older, just like a lot of you guys will, your game will have to change. Now, I'm still a top player. I still like playing on top. My bottom game has changed. So the time period where I could just explode, where maybe a lot of you used to do the same thing, or you are doing the same thing, the problem is your joints only take that for so long. When you're young, you get away with it. You'll see young guys come into the gym, get a straight up fucking Kimura on their arm. Shit looks like it's gonna break off, and they still don't tap because they're like, oh no, I could have taken the pain. Why, dude? Why are you taking that pain? Don't you want to live to fight another day? I mean, fuck, you can take the pain, but you're not gonna train for 2 weeks. So that's part of training smart anyway. But so changing your style to where it works for you, where you can still play your game but being smart. So what the big change for me was, I had to start realizing, as strong as I am, right, that my cardio and endurance wasn't always there. Now that's something, of course, you can work on, right? But nonetheless, when you're rolling around with an 18-year-old, which is embarrassing, or a 20-year-old, they can outwork you, right? A lot of them can. So when they do, especially if they're at equal level of skills as you, you just have to learn when to use your power at the right times. So for myself, when I'm on the bottom, I work closed guard. When closed guard starts to fail, or I'm just, every window's being shut and I'm not getting many options, I say, okay, you know what, I'm done fucking playing this. I'm going to go to half guard. I'm going to sweep you. I'm going to get back on top and go back to where I know I need to be. So that's how I've modified myself through my life. I've just chilled a little bit more. I've learned to work myself off my back, not feel like I have to explode. When someone says, you gotta get off your back, their mindset is points. I don't give a shit about points, right? So it can be a challenge if you're in a gym where they're so focused on sport training that it almost hinders your natural training, because what are you doing? You're on your back waiting for the opportunity. You're using your brain. You're doing the right thing, but you have an environment that's telling you you're doing the wrong thing because they're in a different mindset, which that's okay, and we can get into that. There's times where you will train with a different mindset, but the environment you're in is the opposite of your mindset. And you just got to keep on keeping on. You keep trucking forward because you know what your goals are, right? So here's a comment that I heard that I thought was the worst comment I've ever heard. One of them. I heard another comment recently which I thought was pretty freaking bad, but a high-level jiu-jitsu guy from back in the day, right? Trained jiu-jitsu. He was the guy that was, I'm the aggressor. I'm going to smash the shit out of everybody. Blah, blah, blah. I beat the shit out of everybody. Long story short. Well, what happens is he starts focusing on a career, starts focusing on a family, walks away from jiu-jitsu for a little while, which, it's normal. We all do. Jiu-jitsu is always going to be there for you. So if you got to walk away. Just don't completely shut that door out. Because remember, jiu-jitsu makes you a better person. It helps you understand how the world works. It helps you understand life. It keeps your ego in check. But, so this guy walks away from jiu-jitsu, decides to come back. Well, when he comes back, he's much older man, right? Maybe he's not quite that lion anymore because now he's got kids and shit like that. And that does change your mindset on how you train. You can't always be such a brute, right? For some people. Well, he realized he couldn't impose his will the way he used to. So when he tried to impose his will the way he used to, he found he was getting injured. So then he just told himself, you know what? I don't need these injuries. I can't play this game. This is a young man's game. Bullshit. And I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. That's like, bruh. Jiu-jitsu, you hear this. Jiu-jitsu did not fail you. You failed jiu-jitsu because you failed to continue to grow in jiu-jitsu. Right? There is no reason why you can't train like Master Helio into your 90s. It's all about learn to adapt. Right? Isn't that what jiu-jitsu is? You're always moving. We're always moving. But you must always be changing your game. Don't get set in one game. You might have a game for the first... you might have a game through chapters of your life where, let's say, right now I'm on top. But that started to become a challenge because I was exploding so much when I'd be on my back that I'd be exhausted on the bottom. And a lower level guy would just almost make me feel like I want to quit, which I hate. I would never show it, but mentally I feel like, fuck, this guy is breaking me down because I'm exhausted. The pressure's getting to me. I feel like a white belt again right now. I'm flailing around and I'm making mistakes. All because I'm trying to match his strength, which, as big as I am, I don't have it anymore. Now, I am 33. There's going to be a lot of guys that say, well, fuck, I'm 40 and I still got it all. Okay, granted, I started physically fighting when I was probably 14 years old. I fought in smoker events. I fought bare knuckle in backyards. I fought in the back of bars. I fought in bars. I fought in different underground events before people even knew what this shit was. Before nowadays, you can find a fight every weekend. There's fights, sanctioned fights, right? So that being said, and I started boxing with my dad when I was a kid, right? And he would make me mess around with other kids. Not in a weird gay way. But, so, granted I'm 33, but my body has been beaten to shit over the years. It's been aged hard. Not like a fine wine. So anyways, just something to think about. I'm not going to ramble on. I'm about to be at the gym here. But again, if you realize what's going on as you're getting older, injuries are piling up, you might just have to readdress. It's not that you can't continue to do jiu-jitsu. It's that your jiu-jitsu may need a change. You might have... Jiu-jitsu is giving you an opportunity to become something better, something greater, right? Take advantage of the opportunity. Don't pout and don't cry and say, fuck, I just don't got it anymore. Got what? You never had anything. You just kept being one step ahead, right? Stay in the game. Change your game if you have to, but never stop training. Keep training jiu-jitsu. And remember, when the good Lord asked you, in this world, what did you learn? Boy, what did you learn? You stand proud. You say, bitch, I learned jiu-jitsu. And take his ass down.